2008 cult classic Navagraha starring Darshan has in fact made a grand return to the theatres on November 7th, 2024. Directed by Dinakar Thoogudeepa and produced by Thoogudeepa Productions, the film's re-release comes after a wave of requests from fans of the challenging star. The re-release date was announced on Thursday by Dinakar and Darshan's wife Vijayalakshmi, alongside members of the original cast who shared their excitement for the iconic film's comeback. Dinakar, in a heartfelt message on social media, has reflected on the film's legacy, saying Navagraha was an attempt to bring together the children of the well-known Kannada actors who often portrayed villainous roles. Even 16 years later, it's loved and remembered by the audiences. With over 100 theatres screening Navagraha in digital format and equipped with 5.1 surround sound, the re-release is being handled by Jagadeesha Films, promising an enhanced experience for the fans. This is a part of a trend in 2024 with several of Darshan's past hits returning to the theatres, including Shastri, Robert, Karya, Namma Prithya, Ramu for Kannada Rajyotsava. Following the recent success of Katira, 2024 promises to be a year packed with Darshan's classics. However, remember, on the other hand, the Karnataka High Court on Wednesday itself had granted interim bail to Kannada actor Darshan Thoogudeepa, who was in prison in connection with his alleged involvement in the murder of 33-year-old Renuka Swami. With that, my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah joins us with more details on this very story. Waji, a very good morning to you, and quite an exciting day for all the Kannada movie buffs, it seems, as their request seems to have been taken up, and now Navagraha is re-released with over 100 theatres screening it.
Well, yes, Shreya, for the fans, it is some good news, but it is also news something that the people should also think about, that now Darshan is a murder accused in an entire case. But that set apart, this has been a trend in South India where producers re-release movies to make sure that they can make some quick bucks. And right now, when Darshan is in the trend, there is a saying that says that good publicity or bad publicity, publicity is publicity at the end of the day. And that is what they're looking at, because right now, when we speak about Darshan, he's one of the most trending topics in the state, be it for good reasons or bad reasons. And that is why the producers might be looking for an opportunity to milk in money through this. And this is something that has been a practice in the industry in South, where they re-release movies after quite a few years so that they can make quick money on these bases, which is now becoming a trend in Bollywood also. And on those lines, this film of Darshan, which is one of the hit films that he's been worked on, will now be re-released in more than hundreds of theatres. And from what I've seen through the Book My Show and other apps, that most of these tickets are houseful as we speak, and there are no tickets available. Most of these people have been putting on tweets saying that, oh, they're not getting tickets. So yes, this has created a hype with regards to Darshan, but we should also know that as we speak and as people are watching this movie, Darshan Thoogudeepa is out on a medical bail, and he has been charged of a murder. So they all have to understand these aspects also, that they are watching a movie of a person who's murder accused in a crime, in a gruesome crime, while they're watching his movie. So these are conscious decisions that people should take on their own. But yes, as we speak, 90 theatres, more than 90 theatres are showing this movie, and this could be one of the ways in which they could make some money.
You know, Waji, that you've raised a very pertinent point. Given that he had such serious allegations against him, Darshan that is, with regards to Renuka Swami's murder, it does not seem, however, with the Kannada movie buffs, with the fans, that this particular aspect of his life has created a dent in their love for Darshan and his movies in the past. In fact, it was their request that this movie gets, re-released.
So fans are somebody which I think stars are also not able to understand, and this mentality of fans is something that even it goes beyond human imagination, because we've been reporting on Darshan from the time it started, and we've seen fans throbbing to the jail. They're doing all sorts of nonsense to make sure that they are highlighted. Their support for Darshan is always there. And like you mentioned, this movie re-release is also one of the requests that the fans have. And right now, as we speak, thousands of fans have gone to the theater to make sure that they show their presence there, and they believe that their actor has not done anything wrong. And even if he has murdered somebody, it is because that person also was doing something wrong, and he's given him an education, and done it as a moral obligation to the society. Because these are the words that I've heard from fans when we've been stationed at outside jails or outside the medical outside the hospital, when we had gone there to check on Darshan and what is happening with regards to the story. But this is what we've heard, the feedback from the fan. I've heard fans telling me that he's got bail. The reason he's got bail is because what he did is a good act, and God does good to those who do good. So it is surprising why the fans are like this, but when there is a demand, there is always a supply, and on those lines, you have this particular movie re-releasing in close to 100 theaters, and that is where the producers and the actors are trying to make some money out of it, keeping in mind that Darshan is still trending, but we should always know that he's right now out on a medical bail and not even on a normal bail where he can move around or do anything, but he's a murder accused too.
You know, Vaji, it's actually interesting at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong using this particular term, but it seems like, and we've seen this kind of, zeal and enthusiasm around these stars for movie buffs down south, and in fact, not just down south, even across the country, but we've seen this specifically down south, how they almost pedestalize these stars to a level where they're no longer just fans, but they might also be bordering what we call fanatics. Would you agree with me on this?
Oh, surely I would not deny that fact, because there are things that people do to gods, which is Abhishekam, but you see that happening in South. You see people bringing liters and liters of milk, pouring it on the poster of their star, just because they have this fanatism towards him. You see all sorts of nonsense that happen during a movie release, with fans doing all sorts of crazy things. I have been a part of these re-releases at various occasions. I've seen how people have done it with regards to Rajnikant, with regards to the Darshan, with regards to Puneet Rajkumar. But all said and done, those are things that uh, are for a superstar who's still living a superstar life, who has no bad image against him. But a society should also think, when somebody who's been accused of a murder, and not just a normal murder, but something so gruesome as the death of Renuka Swami, at a time like this, the people should also question their conscience on what is right and what is wrong. But fans are fans at the
That is
end of the day,
something
and
we had
no matter what,
seen.
for them, it's
That is
fanatics.
something we had seen when he was in prison. The photos that had come out from this particular prison, we had seen him. There is very less remorse about what he's done. Of course, the charges still haven't been proven in the court of law, but there are charges and there are evidences that have come out, and he's being investigated in a very serious murder that's taken place. And yet we see that people have pedestalized him to a level where there is no remorse, but he seems to be having the time of his life even while being sentenced to jail, even while being in custody, for that matter. Not sentenced, but yes, being in the custody.
Well, whether he's having a time of his life or not is something that we still don't know. We cannot surely say that, because at the end of the day, he's still in jail. But the popularity that he's getting, the fans who are not able to digest the fact that he's a murderer, or he's allegedly accused as one of the prime suspect in a murder, is something that should question people as a society, because Darshan right now is accused number two. There are allegations that he was the one who ordered the kidnap. He was the one who said that, bringing him here, we'll see what we can do. After that, in front of him, the victim was thrashed, and the result of those thrashing was the one that killed him. But despite all of this, the popularity of Darshan doesn't seem to go down, because there is another sense, or there is a twisted thinking with regards to fans, where they believe that what he's done is justice at the end of the day. Renuka Swami, who the deceased, was not a person who had a clean image. He also was messaging people on Twitter. He was also doing wrong things on social media, and that is something that Darshan has done justice to, is what the fans believe, and this is something that can go beyond your thinking and my thinking at the end of the day, Shreya.